Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and therefore, Honorable Speaker, beg that we either redact from the Hansard, because, Honorable Speaker, what the Honorable Mureu had said that he has documents that he can table, because clearly he had no documents to table. Honorable Speaker, I was just telling Honorable Mureu here, no, it's different when you are discussing matters at Kirwara Market from the House. The House, you have to come and debate with facts, not the way we debate in our marketplaces. And Honorable Speaker, because what we tend to do many a times are to make political statements for the gallery. Because we know we are on national TV, we want to be quoted in the evening news that you have evidence, but you have not tabled any evidence, and therefore must be on the Hansard and in the records of this House that the Honorable Mureu has tabled no evidence of either Adani being debarred from doing business in Australia and all the other countries he named. But Honorable Speaker, back to my question to the Cabinet Secretary, and I had wished that's what Honorable Mureu would dwell on, because the questions in the minds of Kenyans is that Adani Group was said to have initiated a privately initiated PPP proposal. We would want to know, and Kenyans would want to know, are there other investors from any other part of the world that may have had other proposals that the Kenya Airports Authority was considering together with that of Adani? Because the questions Kenyans have been asking is whether there has been transparency, whether there has been openness in the manner in which the Kenya Airports Authority and the concerned ministry has dealt with this question of Adani. And I had hoped that the Honorable Mureu would take the Cabinet Secretary to task to explain to Kenyans what measures they took to inform Kenyans whether there have been other prior proposals from other countries, from other airline management companies, from any other part of the world.
Ask your question.
Here, whether the Cabinet Secretary can tell us, have there been other proposals that were being considered together with this one for Adani? Because what we have heard in the media is what probably you hear many people quote, but we would want to hear from you. Are there other proposals that you have considered? And this Adani one that you tell us now is in court, how far had it gone in terms of your engagements with Adani? Had it moved to the point where you are now discussing a concession, or are you just considering the PIP proposal from Adani? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Oundo.
Honorable Speaker, let me direct my question to the Cabinet Secretary. We passed here the Framework Act, the Principal Act, and it has got very clear stages and steps to be taken before you implement a PP. Probably the Minister could be gracious enough to tell us whether the entire steps that were proposed and contemplated in the Act were ever followed to the letter, to a point they even go to the point of almost signing the agreement, and whether the law was followed as provided for in the law and the regulations. Thank you, Speaker.
Yes, Minister.
Speaker, thank you. Honorable Ichungwa's question is regarding whether we had another privately initiated proposal in respect to JKIA. Honorable Speaker, we do not have any other privately initiated proposal in respect to concessioning of JKIA. Honorable members, to run through a PIP, you will need to have done a feasibility study, and it is a serious submission. It is not a piece of letter. So when you submit a privately initiated proposal, it is a very well done piece of work, having looked at the whole scope of the proposal and what needs to be done. So with respect to that, honorable members, we do not have any other privately initiated proposal by any concessionaire in respect to Jomo Kenyatta International Airport concessioning. even under PPP, we don't. With respect to Oundo's question, Mheshimiwa Oundo, the PPP, like I said, is not, the process is articulated from the time when you submit. It goes through the due process in line with the PPP Act, which includes PPP approval by the PPP committee, project development phase and feasibility study, the evaluation process of the feasibility study report, the PPP committee approval of the feasibility study, the procurement of a technical assistant, and PPP committee consideration and approval of the negotiated outcome. And at the time when we got the court, when it went to court, we were at the time drafting and negotiating a concession agreement, looking at some of the technical issues like the return on equity, the value for money, and so on and so forth. So that is where we were. But like I said, we had also gone through the due process and we were about to finalize the public engagement. So, honorable members, that is when we got the orders, and like I did indicate, we are using this time to ensure that we communicate and we do provide information to Kenyans. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Basil.
Thank you, Speaker. My supplementary is actually tied to what Oundo asked. Can the CS tell us whether JKIA was operating at a loss for it to be considered for privatization?
CS.
Thank you, honorable members. With respect to JKIA, JKIA in its audited accounts makes a profit of 4 billion annually. 4 billion annually. As we are aware of the state of JKIA, the fact that we need a new airport, we have really overutilized in terms of the traffic and the population of persons we receive at JKIA, and the investment at JKIA is in the tune of 200 billion. So when you're talking about an investment, Speaker, honorable members, of 200 billion, and your bottom line is 4 billion, and the fiscal headroom for an asset which is 100% owned by government requires that kind of investment, the only route to go is the PPP route, where we bring in foreign investment through PPP. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Mwenje. I want to move to the next question.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mine is a quick one. In light of this transaction with Adani, perhaps the Cabinet Secretary can just explain to us what happened with the deal that existed with Kenya Airways and JKIA, which we got the feeling that it was dying, but we've never gotten a comprehensive report on what happened with that specific transaction. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Minister.
Let me just very quickly, Speaker, honorable members, that remind the House that that bill was withdrawn by this House. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to the next question. Honorable Mureu.